ladies and gentlemen, and this is the Geek podcast. I am, of course, Night Phoenix, and we're joined by Chris and Streddy from #Escape.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself, about your very interesting venture.
Cool. So my name is Strati from #Escape. Myself and Chris are the designers, owners, managers, operators of everything that has to do with #Escape. So #Escape is the first South African developed escape room concept. We have our rooms in Grant Avenue in Norwood, and basically, if you haven't heard of an escape room before, you bring a team of friends or colleagues, 3 to 6 people, and you get locked in a mysterious room for exactly an hour, and you have to solve a whole bunch of puzzles, unlock things, use objects together, find out what they do, and the ultimate objective is to get out of the room in an hour. So if you've played any of those old school computer games like Monkey Island and Day of the Tentacle and Leisure Suit Larry, it's like that in real life. So you have 1 hour to basically relive all your fantasies, video games that you've ever done, defusing bombs, solving murder mysteries, using sacred objects that unlock things. It's just a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I must say I've done 2 of your escape rooms so far, and guys, I must say the innovation, it's fantastic what you guys have put together there.
Yeah, well, thanks. We're really glad you enjoyed it, and we did try to do that. There's escape rooms overseas that have a 2% success rate of people that are actually able to solve it. And obviously we didn't want to make it as hard as that, but we did want to give people a challenge, to do something a little bit more challenging than everyday life. Even video games these days have been dumbed down a bit. And we just want to do something fresh and challenging and something that you've never done before, but also something that makes you think and stimulates your brain.
No, exactly. I mean, I can attest to the fact that it's not very difficult, but at the same time, it's not easy enough that you can solve it in 5 minutes. Like that one episode of Big Bang Theory where Leonard and them solved it in like 6 minutes flat.
6 minutes, yeah. So we've got a couple of people that have asked us that when they come in. They're like, "Oh, is this like the Big Bang Theory where I can solve it in 6 minutes?" And we tell every one of those people, if you solve it in 10 minutes, we'll give you your money back.
That's a challenge. That's a
challenge, and there's not a person on earth that'll do that. But yeah.
Unless they've got like an IQ of 200 or something.
Yeah, it's actually sometimes even a detriment because smart people overthink things sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. And I heard when we were there last night that you actually had people that come in with lock-picking skills, and that's not exactly welcome. Well, I wouldn't say welcome. It's just it makes the game less fun.
It's just a matter of ruining your own experience. It's about coming in and experiencing the game. We try our best to make it cinematic. We try our best to make it challenging and exciting, and the game unfolds as you solve puzzles. And if you're gonna, we have had on odd occasion people who don't know any better come and they know how to pick a lock open, or they know how to spin a 3-digit combo lock. And they do that, and they actually start bypassing things and ruin the experience for their friends. So they've spent good money to have a good time, and one person has gone and ruined the experience for everyone else. But fortunately, it doesn't happen a lot. And we do try to stop it as it's happening. When we notice someone start picking a lock, we tell them, listen, rather just enjoy the game rather than breaking a lock. If you want to break a lock, go to the hardware store, buy one for 50 Rand and spin it at home, and you'll have the same fun.
Yeah, yes, no, but I'll tell you, some people are too clever for their own good, and that's not the point of games such as what you guys host. You ideally want to have an experience where people come in and they actually just experience the event, and not sort of make it quick, easy out of there. It's a complete and utter waste of money.
Yeah, hi, Chris. Yeah, 100%. We agree with you. I mean, you're coming there to enjoy the time with your friends, get away from your stress, just have a full hour experience and just literally escape your problems, excuse the pun. Yeah. And people come in there and they pick locks, and what can you do? But we try to prevent it. We've started making a rule now where we're deciding to deduct time, or even just mentioning it and saying, give them a lock in the beginning of the game and say, hey, here's a lock. if you
Yeah.
if you want
If
to
you
prove that you
really
can,
have to crack something, do this one. It's not
yeah,
part of
crack
the
this one
game.
out of your system, prove it to everyone, and then you guys can carry on.
Yeah, that's a great idea, actually.
No,
But yeah.
tell me, guys, how long have you actually been doing escape rooms?
Well, yeah, we found our premises in September last year. We started building. We got all the puzzles and themes together, and we officially opened in November, around
Okay,
the
and
3rd or 4th of November last year. So we're fairly new, about 6 months.
okay, and where did the idea come from? What was the inspiration behind hashtag escape?
Well, the two of us have played overseas. I mean, Struddy played in Greece, and I'd played in India. We played a few escape rooms, and we thought, this is an amazing concept. Why don't we bring it to Joburg? I'm sure people would love the idea, and why not design our own one instead of buying a franchise and all of that? Seeing as though we're passionate about designing puzzles, we've been doing it our whole life.
Okay.
And so, for instance, for friends' birthdays, and we do treasure hunts and all of that stuff for the people to find the present. And we thought, geez, this is right up our alley. Why don't we design our own one? We love creating things, and yeah, that's how hashtag Escape was born.
Okay. I must say, the trend of escape rooms has really grown. I saw. I don't know if you've seen this. There was a YouTube video making the rounds of a French-based escape room. Those people like go all out. I saw one of the ones that they did is like a metro car. People are trapped inside the metro car, and they have to. I think there's a bomb on the metro car, and they have to solve puzzles to be able to figure out how to disarm the bomb and escape. And
That's
then,
amazing.
yeah, dude, seriously, I was thoroughly impressed by that. And then, are you guys familiar with the Assassin's Creed video game series?
Yes, I've played Assassin's Creed, the first one, I played the second one, and I played Black Flag, and I decided I'm not going to play any more of them because it seems to be the same thing over and over and over and over again. So, yeah, I'm done with Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, now, this French-based escape room company, they actually put together an Assassin's Creed themed one, and
Nice.
you actually get to, I believe, explore the catacombs underneath the streets of Paris, which
That's
is part
amazing.
of the escape room. And then I don't remember much else of the details. They didn't show much in this video, but I'll include it in the actual podcast article video, the one that's going up on the Geek Node website. So, and I'll send it to you guys as well if you want to check it out.
That's awesome, Jonathan. We would love to check that out. It's an exciting time to be involved in this because it's a relatively new concept. Well,
Yes.
in South Africa, it's brand new, but it's been going around the world for a few years now. But I think as it catches on in popular culture, people are spending more. People are upping the ante, making it more professional, more impressive, and we embrace that, and we think, the more we can do out there, the better it forces us to be, and we want to deliver a world-class product. But having said that, we've had many tourists come and play already. We've had Canadians, we've had French as well. We've had people from the Netherlands, Germany, actually, New York, and people have come. And what makes us really proud is that people have come and said, you know what, I've done. Actually, this was a woman last week. She said, I've done 4 escape rooms in Manhattan. They were all really cool, but I'll be honest, this is the best one that I've played out of all of them.
Wow, that's a really great compliment. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we like to hear. Maybe we haven't spent. We don't have a French catacomb to set our game in. We don't have an abandoned metro car. We don't have any metro cars in South Africa to use.
No,
but
unless you hijack a Gautrain.
That's it. Yeah, those horrible old yellow trains and just derail one. But we don't have budget like that, and we don't have cool historical stuff like that to use. But we've done what we could with what we have, and we think what we've done is very cool.
Yes.
Especially, there are like 90% of the escape rooms out there, they look like an office,
yes,
or they look like someone's house. And we've tried to take it up a notch. We don't want to just make an escape room that looks like an office or a house and use it as an excuse to throw in 100 different unrelated puzzles. And from the games that you've played, we try to make everything thematic.
And
We try
story
to
driven,
make it
especially, yeah.
story driven, especially with our second room now that you just played. The story is everything. So every puzzle that you do tells you a new part of the story and a new reason why you're there and what you're doing. So yeah.
And while we're on the topic of your rooms, do you very briefly, without any spoilers, want to sort of highlight a little bit about what each is about for our listeners out there?
All right, cool. So our first room we designed, we called the Rebel Room, and it's basically you're locked in like this military sort of camp type of thing, and you've got to solve clues, but a spy's left clues around the camp for you because you're hostages, and he's trying to help you out. He's like a mole who's giving you clues. He's left clues around the place to aid your escape. And you've got 1 hour to escape before the rebels return. So there's a bit of time pressure. There's a bit of, oh wow, when are the rebels going to come? Or the oak's going to run into the room, you know?
It's very military themed.
Yes.
It is like a jungle, as you know, it's a jungle camp. And what we've tried to do in that is do things that you would do in a jungle camp, in a military type scenario. So all the props are very themed. A lot of them are authentic. We've used real life uniforms and helmets and things like that, like legit stuff. It's not just a box we found at the hardware store and painted to look like an ammo box. It really is an ammo box. You know, all our props are authentic as we could possibly make them.
And one thing I must add at this point is that the sound effects and that sort of stuff, it makes it very atmospheric. As far as I can recall, you had the sounds of the jungle reverberating through the room.
Yes, cool. Yeah, so you remember that. That's something we also like to do. We theme our music. We time the music so that it becomes more climatic at certain points.
It gets claustrophobic the later on into the game you get,
The sound effects make people jump. So we tried our best to do all of that kind of stuff.
And tell us a little bit about Closure.
So Closure is the room that we've just opened now. We opened it near the beginning of April. Closure is a paranormal themed detective story. So basically the premise is you're a group of paranormal investigators. You're led to a haunted house to essentially find out what's been going on. There's shadows moving in the middle of the night. There's weird sounds the neighbors are reporting. No one goes to the house anymore because it's too creepy. And your group of paranormal investigators is sent to the house to go and work out what's going on. And as you arrive there, essentially you find this house. You go in. Looks like pretty much a normal house. And things just go crazier and crazier from there.
I'm just getting goosebumps thinking of my experience last night. It really was very scary. But and just based on my experience, I can definitely confirm that it definitely is a fantastic room.
And what we try to do in that room, a lot of people, they're like, oh, it's scary. It must be like, you must have people jumping out in vampire masks and that. And that's not what, people, we like to encourage people to believe whatever they want to believe about the room because it's going to enhance their own experience when they play it. The imagination is the most powerful, special effect of them all. But what we've tried to do is make a much more of a psychological horror.
Yeah, I suppose I can reveal that there are things that go bump in the night in the room, and it really scares the living crap out of you when you're concentrating on trying to solve a puzzle, and then all of a sudden you just hear this knocking behind you.
Yeah, so we did actually find a ghost and tame it. And train it to do a few tricks for us. So that's how we pull all those things off.
Now, was it Daisy DeMelker? Because I hear she haunts everywhere in Joburg.
Yeah, it's roughly that kind of vibe.
Okay. Yeah, and I've got to ask. Outside of #escape, what is your history in the geek side of things? Tell us a little bit about your geek credentials.
Okay, so we both are very geeky. I guess back in the day, when we were in school and stuff, it wasn't something you could be too proud of. It was more like what position do you play in the rugby team, and you're trying to like hide the fact that you play rugby. But anyway, like I think the world has moved on, and we're proud of our hobbies now. So from my point of view, I've always been into video games from a young age. I had what we used to call, we didn't even know it was called a Nintendo. It was the Golden China.
Yes.
I know Chris had one as well.
I had one as well, yeah.
Yeah, I think every South African kid had one. My personal favorite to this day is probably the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. I think it was number 3.
Okay, and just for interest's sake, who's your favorite turtle?
Leonardo.
Raphael.
I'm a Donatello guy. I'm sorry.
We have this theory that no 4 people can ever have the same favorite Ninja Turtle. So if you put 4 people in a room, they're guaranteed to each have a different Ninja Turtle.
I'm inclined to agree with you on that. Yeah.
Try it out. Everyone's got their personal favorites.
Yeah, it works every time, bro.
Yeah. And on the TV series side, any favorites at the moment?
Breaking Bad.
Okay.
Forever. It'll never change. Nothing will ever come close. Chris has got a different opinion.
Yeah, I'm a Superman fan, so it's always going to be Smallville. It's going to be every Superman movie that ever comes out. Anything to do with Superman, bro. He's the main man, bro.
Have you guys seen the new Batman versus Superman?
Yes. We went like the next day after it came out.
IMAX 3D has to be.
Yeah, it was amazing, bro. Amazing.
And very brief spoiler-free opinions.
I liked it because it was very close to the Frank Miller story arc, Dark Knight Returns, if I'm not mistaken, and also the Funeral for a Friend Superman story arc with Doomsday. So, I like that aspect of it. Very cool.
I liked it because Superman shows how powerful he is, bro, and he just kicks the shit out of everyone. So I like that aspect of it, yeah.
Except for Batman, but we won't go into detail on that one.
Yeah. That's
I'm sorry, guys. I'm a Batman fan through and through.
I'm a Batman. In my opinion, the Dark Knight trilogy was the best superhero movies ever made. I don't think anyone should have wasted their time making another superhero movie. That's my opinion. And
I don't
know. Sticking with it, eh?
Yeah, Ben Affleck has signed up to direct and produce the new DC Universe Batman movie, so I'm very curious to see what he does with it.
Let's see what Suicide Squad brings.
Yes, no, definitely. I'm very keen to see that as well. Any favorites from the trailers that you guys have seen so far?
Okay, well now I'm going to be a little bit biased because besides the actual characters, Will Smith's my favorite actor. All right, so I'm going to say Will Smith in the movie just because it's him. But, so I'm going to be biased. And Margot Robbie because she's amazingly hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to disagree there.
It's going to be a good Harlequin, yeah. Harley Quinn, yeah.
Yeah. And on your side, Stretty?
Sure. Batman, has to be. They haven't shown him in the trailers, so...
They actually have. Have you seen the latest trailer?
I haven't seen the new one. I haven't seen the new trailers. The one that I saw, I've never noticed it. Yeah.
It's still Ben Affleck. Okay, cool.
But I think they very briefly show him, and it's got something to do with a car chase scene. So I think they're keeping him as a surprise in the movie.
That's what I'm looking forward to. Look, I also like the Joker. I'm a Heath Ledger Joker man. I liked his interpretation the best out of all. So let's see what Jared Leto does. It should be good.
Yeah, personally, I'm a Jack Nicholson fan. I love his iteration in the original Batman movie. Brilliant performance.
We were looking out the other day. Rest in peace, Prince. I didn't realize that Prince did the music for that movie. That's seen in the art gallery where the Joker and his henchmen trashed the art gallery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Prince wrote the music for that. It's actually, what a talented guy.
He wrote the music for everything, really.
Yeah, rest in peace, Prince.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you guys following Game of Thrones at all?
Look, I've got a friend who tried to get me into reading the books many years before it was a thing on TV, and I don't know, just never really paid attention. And then I saw the series, the first season 1, loved it. Read all 5 of the books before the second season came out.
Yeah.
And I must say, I'm not following anymore because it just started diverging too much from the books, and
you're
I think,
you're a diehard fan of the books.
yeah, I really am, and I think season 6 it's just gone way past where the books ended at the moment, and I don't want to ruin it, so I'm actually not going to be watching. I wish I could, but I've made that decision.
Okay, and yeah, any other series that you guys are currently following? Maybe some of the DC stuff, Flash, Arrow, DC's Legends of Tomorrow.
I'm not following any of the DC or Marvel, but I am a huge Dragon Ball Z fan.
Okay.
And again, I'm not going to sound like a fan because obviously Dragon Ball Super's come out and I haven't even seen one episode of it. But
Okay.
yeah, it's because of hashtag. I mean, we're so busy and stuff, we literally don't have time to really download all this stuff and sit and watch it. I'd rather be working on a puzzle, but I'm going to get to it and I'll keep you updated once I watch the entire series.
Oh, awesome, man! Looking forward to it. We'll definitely have a follow-up podcast to sort of catch up on your geeky viewings.
Yeah, 100%. I'm sure you're going to be at Geek Fest, of course.
Yes, we are.
Are you going to be podcasting from there?
Yes, we are.
Awesome. Yeah, I think it's going to be a great event, bro. I'm very excited for it. We're all excited for it. Yeah, it's going to be huge, and I hope a lot of people come. I hope they get their numbers.
Yeah, so if we just can mention now, I know it's been all over the internet and all over Geek Node as well, but so we're doing those pop-up escape rooms at Geek Fest. So essentially, we wanted to do something quite small initially, and the good folks at Dark Carnival twisted our arms a bit, and I think for the good of the public, we're doing a much bigger thing. We've taken a whole marquee. There are going to be 4 mini pop-up escape rooms.
Okay.
They've all got a different theme, so it's not like 4 copies of the same room. It's a completely different experience. So they are 10 to 15 minute games. So if you come through and do all 4 of them, it's essentially like getting your 1 hour escape room fix.
Yeah.
They're going to be very cool. They all kind of interlinked. So there's an international criminal mastermind going around doing crimes, and each one of the puzzles is essentially solving one of the crimes.
Okay.
So yeah,
it sounds like LA Noire almost.
Yeah, kind of. It's gumshoe kind of detective work. The one is you're trying to defuse a bomb before it blows up. The other one is you're solving a murder in a mansion, and as a kind of a nod to the geek culture, it's based on the board game Cluedo.
Okay.
And another one is an art gallery heist, which we're actually sitting just before this printing out all the artworks and putting the final touches on the puzzle. And the other one is kind of like we're not going to say too much, but essentially you've got to track down the criminal.
Okay. So if you solve all 4 rooms, then you essentially find out who the mastermind is behind everything.
You've saved the city, you've brought the criminal to justice, and you're the hero of the day.
Okay, and tell me, what will the cost be for the pop-up rooms at Geek Fest?
So each room is going to accommodate between 2 to 4 people.
Okay.
We don't want anyone to come in and do it by themselves. Escape rooms are essentially a group activity, and they work best like that because you get to interact with your friends and really, bring out the best in each other's puzzle solving abilities. So 2 to 4 people. We don't want to cram our rooms full of people. We want the people to, we want each player to have like a really rich experience. And it's 50 Rand a person for each one of the rooms.
Wow, that's a bargain. Like, seriously.
Yeah, it's really nothing, So, and you come and try it out. If you like the one, which I'm sure you will, if there's enough time and you get there early enough and you put your name down, you'll get to play all 4.
Yeah, no, definitely. And you guys are obviously going to be running these over both days.
We will be running them over the Saturday and the Sunday. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So, if you're listening to this podcast and you're keen to try out #Escape, check them out at GeekFest.
Yes.
They are awesome, and I can say that confidently from personal experience.
Nice. Thanks, Jonathan. We appreciate that.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. And you've got some prizes as well, I believe, huh?
Yeah, and so as you guys know, and this is officially going up on the website tomorrow, the guys at Hashtag Escape has generally, ugh, I'm tongue twisting tonight, generously offered a free game at their Norwood uh, event venue where you can participate with 5 of your friends. In any one of the uh, escape rooms there. The voucher is worth 1,200 rand, and that is of course going into our Geek Node raffle, which you can buy a ticket for this Saturday and Sunday, with the draw taking place on Sunday at 12 o'clock on the main stage. So yeah, if you want to get your hands on that voucher, and you want to come through to the hashtag event venue, hashtag escape venue, and then participate in that escape room, either rebel room or closure, be sure to be at Geekfest. You can grab a ticket for the raffle, $100 a person. And yeah, you could stand a chance to walk away with that hamper. It's currently sitting, and you guys won't believe this, nearly 8,000 rands in value for the entire raffle hamper.
That's a lot of geek stuff. And Jonathan, there's just a question. Can I answer it?
Yeah, yes. You can. We'll still give away our prize.
I promise if we win, we'll still give away the voucher.
Unfortunately not, guys, but thank you for your interest.
Awesome.
Worth a shot.
Yeah, and just to give a rehash as to the other stuff that's going to be in the Geeknode raffle hamper, we've got a keyboard worth 2,500 rand from Cooler Master South Africa. Thank you very much to the guys from Cooler Master for sponsoring that.
I've actually personally got a Cooler Master CM Storm at home. They are legit. I love it so much. It's just like the centerpiece of my desk.
Oh, okay, that sounds really awesome.
Not being paid to say that, I genuinely, it's a really quality thing.
I'm just quickly pulling up the page here, and I'll tell you guys exactly. Okay, now I've unpublished it now, but yeah, I'll go into the back end. Just give me 1 sec, guys. I'll tell you exactly what we've got. What I can remember off the top of my head, NAG magazine, one of the oldest running video games magazines in South Africa, has actually come to the table. They've given us a couple of hampers to give away for Rage, which is coming up in October, I believe. They inside the hamper you will find various geeky items. I'm not going to reveal what it is. It's a surprise. But what I can reveal is it includes 2 single one-day passes to Rage Expo Johannesburg, and yeah, we'll pretty much have one of those in the raffle hamper. We'll have one for first and second place in our Pro Evolution Soccer tournament. And yeah, we'll have 2 to give away as spot prizes at Geekfest. So hang around the Geeknote stand. You can actually stand a chance to win one of those hampers from NAG magazine. One of the other prizes we've got an 800 rand voucher from T-Shirt Terrorist. So if you love your geeky T-shirt, you can grab one of those. I'm just opening up the article now, then I'll tell you. From CC Entertainment, we've got 2 brilliant prizes. We've got Rugby 2015 on PS4 valued at 372 rand. We've got a CC Mods Marvel Captain America Power Bank valued at 449 rand. We've got several very nice DVDs from Stay Clinical Entertainment, and this is a big one which I'm sure even you guys at Hashtag Escape might appreciate. From Fairy Fountains, we've got a 3D printed Fallout 4 Pip-Boy, and it's custom printed to fit the winner's phone, and that is valued at 800 rand.
Yeah, that's cool. That is nice.
This is true.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so whoever, and there's only one winner.
Was that a little hint that you want to see a Fallout themed escape room in the future?
It might be nice. I mean, that lore is very rich. Just imagine an escape room where you're in a desolate wasteland, and there's an irradiated room, and the room is just slowly filling with radiation, and you have to escape before you become too irradiated.
That's a nice idea. That's going on the ideas board.
We might need to recruit you to design that room for us, bro.
Yeah.
We make a plan. We make a plan.
Cool.
And you have to lockpick the locks to continue.
Yes. Yeah. The exact
Yeah,
opposite. Yeah. Nice.
We've actually discussed that many times.
Nice.
Speaking of apocalypses, one of the other prizes in the raffle is a couple of books from a local author. His name is Lee Herman. He wrote the South African Zombie Apocalypse, which is a fictional story set in South Africa during a zombie apocalypse, as well as the South African Zombie Apocalypse Survival Guide, which is a light-hearted look at how to survive in a zombie-ridden South Africa. So,
Very cool.
Yeah,
Jonathan, on that note,
yeah,
I don't know. You must have seen the movie World War Z.
I don't think I have. Is that the one with Brad Pitt?
Yes, it is.
I'm yet to see that one.
So I would say rather read the book.
Okay.
One of the most interesting books that I've read recently, and basically it's a study in how each of the different regions of the world will respond to like a zombie apocalypse, and South Africa actually features in there.
Oh wow, that's quite
interesting. They've got a whole analysis of what, based on the geographic layout of the country and the system of government and we have and all that, and what's their idea of how the South Africans would respond to a zombie fallout. Very, very cool.
Yeah, it's actually quite an interesting idea for you guys for an escape room as well. You could actually work with Lee Herman, who's actually extensively researched the subject, and work together to maybe do something like that.
Nice. Is he going to be at Geek Fest? I'd like to meet him.
Yes, he is. I'll actually introduce you guys at Geek Fest.
That'll be great.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. We are local game designers. We design everything ourselves, so it's great to. We appreciate the support for the local game industry and the local fiction industry and all that. So, big up to him and all the support to the locals that we can get.
Yeah, no, definitely. Very, very important question that I've got to ask you guys. Have you seen the new Captain America?
Not yet, but we've heard it is something special.
Yeah, no, apparently it's the best Marvel movie to date. We are yet to go and see it ourselves, but a couple of my writers has actually gone to see it, and they were thoroughly impressed. So I am very much looking forward to seeing that one. But in our defense, we are actually busy marathoning the older Marvel Cinematic Universe movies in preparation for going to watch the new one. So, and we're not quite there yet.
I've heard it's quite important to brush up on your history of those movies because they all sort of culminate in this story.
Yes, definitely. Especially if you've seen Avengers 2: Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that. Wow, that was one of my favorites.
Yeah, I must say my favorite Marvel movie to date has been Ant-Man, but because it's got the same sort of nuances that the original Iron Man did, but at the same time it's a very unique story. So if you guys haven't seen that, definitely go and check it out.
No, I haven't actually seen it.
I also haven't seen it, to be honest. I haven't, bro.
Yeah. Games. What are you guys playing at the moment?
So are we talking video games or board games?
We'll start on video games and then we can move over to board games because we do cover all of those.
So I just finished, actually 2 nights ago, Wolfenstein: The New Order. I know it's a bit of an old title, 2 years or something, but I got around to playing it and finished that the other night.
No spoilers. I'm actually in the middle of that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we got a PS4 over Christmas, and that's one of the games that came with the PS4. So I haven't really finished it yet. I'm actually stuck. You'll probably remember that part with the 2 big robots in the courtyard as you're trying to escape with the people in the boot or something. Or
yes, at night. It's in the
middle
of night.
I just cannot get past those 2 robots. They are tough as nails.
You've got to use the grenades.
Is it? I'll keep that in mind. Yeah. And Chris, are you playing any video games at the moment?
I'm gonna sound like a very old soul right now, bro, and you're gonna probably laugh at me, but there's literally one game that I've been playing for 15 years, bro. Yuri's Revenge.
Luri's Revenge. I don't
Yuri,
think I've.
Alert, Command and Conquer.
Oh, you're a Command and Conquer fanboy.
Yes, bro, I just can't.
I own all of those. I recently repurchased the Command and Conquer Decade Collection of Origin. I will admit I haven't installed all of them, but for some of my favorite Command and Conquer games so far, I must say Red Alert 2.
Yes.
I love the original Command and Conquer, and there was a first-person shooter one, uh,
Renegade.
Renegade, that was released,
Yes.
and
Jeez.
that was like the ultimate Command and Conquer experience for me, because I'd always since I was a small child playing the original game, imagined what it would be like if you could actually zoom in and play as one of those soldiers and
Yes.
see the
I
world.
used to think the same thing. I used to think the same thing. I'd be like, how cool would it be if you could actually drive a tank
Yeah.
or fly an aircraft or be one of those guys? Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, definitely,
Yeah, Renegade was great.
it's definitely one of the games, or one of the series that I would like to return to, because it from a video games perspective, it's one of the series that holds a very special place in my heart growing up.
Yeah, and General, I enjoyed the Generals series as well. Command and Conquer Generals and the Zero Hour expansion as well. That was great.
I never really got into Generals that much. It felt too different from the previous games. I think for me, the whole idea that the previous games were so far fetched
Yes,
were
yes, yes.
what made them awesome for me. So
Yeah.
and
Cheesy.
Generals.
Just like cheesy cinematics and that.
Yes, and they were actually some of my favorite actors in those. Um,
Tim
uh,
Curry.
Tim Curry was in there. I think he played one of the Russian characters,
Yes, yes.
and then there was uh, I think is it Edward or James Wood? He played. He was actually on the cover of Red Alert 2. He was one of the American soldiers. You remember the guy with the eye patch?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's actually also one of my uh, late 80s, early 90s favorite actors. He starred in quite a few interesting movies.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and then for the life of me, I can't remember the others, but the Tim Curry appearance was very prominent for me as well.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Those cutscenes were so like overdone. It was great.
Yeah, and they literally overacted. It's not even like
Yeah,
what a normal actor would do in a situation like that. They really
yeah,
drove home their part.
yeah. No, it was great. That was a great series.
Yeah, and of course, as you said earlier, Stretty, any board games that you guys are interested in lately?
Okay, so board games are my big problem.
Are you a huge fan?
Oh man, it's bad. So we're actually sitting in my study at the moment, and you can just look up, and my shelves are literally full of board games.
Okay,
I started playing in 2005 with the Settlers of Catan. I got introduced, and that was like my gateway drug.
okay.
And just downhill from there. And I think the game that I haven't been buying lately, just been too busy actually, and it's so difficult to get a crew together. But there is a great local company, Timeless Board Games, that are doing
Yes.
a monthly event. Great guys,
Yeah.
and you know they're selling board games, and you can go and demo like any board game you can think of. They got it there for you to sit and play with your friends and demo.
And they're very well priced as well, so that
Great.
helps.
They're great. They're such great guys. And I think I bought this a couple of years ago, but the game that we always come back to, and we love the conflict, we love the backstabbing, we love the military battles and that's Twilight Imperium Rex.
Okay, I must write that one down. We are actually in the process of tracking down a few interesting new board games to take a look at.
So that game is actually based off an old board game from the 70s, Dune, which is based on the Dune science fiction
Books,
stories, the
yeah.
books. That board game was based on that, and basically they took that concept, refreshed it, put the Twilight Imperium skin on it, all those houses and that, and updated the rules a little bit just to make them a little bit more seamless, and it's a great experience.
It sounds very fascinating.
Awesome.
I've actually got a little bit of a history with Dune. I've read a couple of the books, but what really stuck with me was I think the studio was called Firaxis Studios or something like that, and
Okay.
they actually produced a adventure game called Dune, and it was based on the books, and it was a really shitty looking DOS game, but the
Okay.
ideas in that game, if you can get your hands on that, you can probably get it like on any abandonware websites or something.
Yeah.
Um, Give it a try. I'm guaranteeing you right now that if you love the Dune stories, you will love the game. You actually you play Paul Atreides, who I'm sure you know is the
Protagonist.
protagonist in the story, and you actually have to travel around Dune in an ornithopter, and you have to recruit Fremen, and you have to. It's kind of like a strategy sort of thing. You have to assign them to teachers. They've got to turn them either into water producing or food producing or spice producing plants,
Okay.
and you've actually got the houses from Harkonnen, and I can't remember the other houses, but they actually from time to time attack the sietches, and they attack your ore refineries, and those little ore trucks and stuff that go out to mine the ore, and you actually have to build defenses for it, and it actually gets quite interesting. So
Nice.
if you're into it, I guess you could say it's like a third person sort of strategy, real time strategy type game. I don't
Okay.
know how to describe it, but definitely check it out. And even for the listeners out there, check out the old DOS Dune game.
Oh, so that's prior to the one I think that came out in about somewhere between 97 and 99. There was a real-time strategy Dune that was released.
Yes, but that was a top down one, very similar to Command and Conquer.
Yeah, Command and
But
Conquer. Yeah.
But the one that I'm talking about, you play as Paul Atreides and you go
Okay.
through this whole great big adventure. So it's quite different.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, I love the series. I love that whole universe. So it's worth checking out.
Yeah, and even if you haven't read the books or even watched the movies lately, it's well worth the watch again.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen the films or the series or anything like that, but the books are amazing.
Yeah. Do yourself a favor, pop past your closest video store or check. I'm sure it must be on Netflix or even on Showmax. Have a look and see if you can catch those films. Well
Yeah,
worth the watch.
yeah,
I think they're miniseries, so set a good 4 or 5 hours aside.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, shorter than your average series these days.
Yeah, but I mean, even I don't know if you guys noticed lately on TV series they've significantly scaled down the amount of episodes that you find in the average series. Whereas in the past you had like 23, 24 episodes in a series. These days you get like 10, maybe 12 episodes in a series.
Well, hopefully it's because they making a more quality, more coherent story instead of stretching it out over 20 episodes just to get you coming back.
Yeah, it's called fluff.
Yeah, that's it.
Don't insult Dragon Ball Z like that, bro.
No, but Dragon Ball Z is a whole different kind of story. I mean, um, you could actually, if you cut all the fluff out, make one big like 1 hour episode out of a Dragon Ball Z season.
Yeah, that's the thing. They like drag it out, but I loved it.
But
Yo.
the
Yeah,
Japanese are the best at building those emotional, and I think that's what it is. They just you get so amped up for that fight. If
yeah.
it was a one episode fight, you would, I think Naruto's also a bit guilty of that, and Bleach and they're all similar, but the Japanese are masters of that.
Yeah, I must say, lately, I don't know if you're familiar with the Avatar series, Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah, familiar with it. I can't say that I've watched it.
I've seen a few episodes of it, yeah.
Do yourself a favor, guys. Watch The Last Airbender, and when you're done with that, watch The Legend of Korra. I'm on the last season of Legend of Korra, watching it for the first time now. It's probably some of the best storytelling in animation that I've ever seen. Uh, it's the initial series, Last Airbender, is more geared toward kids, but Legend of Korra is more geared towards teenagers. So, and even adults. I mean, there's a couple of adult themes in there. You can get genuinely shocked at the way that they handle some of the storylines. So, it's well worth the watch if you're into animation.
Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah, for sure. Korra.
Legend of Korra, yeah.
Yeah, and of course, if you like your anime, like I see you guys like your Dragon Ball Z and your Naruto, have a look at Attack on Titan.
I have downloaded that. It's sitting on my queue to watch.
Okay.
I haven't had a chance. This past 6 months has been a bit insane, and prior to that was even worse. So we'll get around to it.
And then another one for your queue, Struddy, Death Note.
Yes, Death Note. I got into Death Note. I got about five episodes in, was loving it, and then just life got in the way.
You should return to it. I'm going to highly recommend that.
No, that's one of the best.
Take a few.
Highly recommended.
Take a weekend and just binge it. You will not be disappointed.
I don't take weekends. Weekends are for my customers at #Escape.
No, I realize. But when you do get a chance, definitely check it out.
Nice, we'll do.
Yeah, and then just in closing, we are nearing the 1 hour mark. Is there anything else that you guys would like to talk about? Maybe expand a little bit more on #Escape. Tell us a little bit about any other projects that you have that's upcoming aside from GeekFest.
Well, I think the question people always have when they come to #Escape is, when are we going to build new rooms? So,
Okay.
Yeah, as we said at the beginning of the show, we've got 2 rooms, the Rebel Room and Closure. Vastly different experiences, great experiences. Either one that people play first, they love it. They always come back to play the other one. We are working on a 3rd, we're happy to announce.
Wow.
And that will be ready if everything goes well and we don't have another Geek Fest popping up or something like that. That should be ready at the end of June.
Okay.
We haven't yet decided on a name for that, but it's going to be a really exciting game. The premise is that you're a group of hackers that have been imprisoned in a high security prison.
Kind of like Lizard Squad or Anonymous.
Well, that's the thing. So you're locked in a prison. You're divided with a cell in between you, so you actually can't communicate with the entirety of your team, but you still need to support each other. And the catch is that because you are hackers, Anonymous, seeking justice and liberation of the world, is actually overriding the security systems in the prison to help get you out. So you're interacting with Anonymous. It's going to be a really, really exciting game.
Okay, so contrary to the other games, they will actually need to communicate with people on the outside. So that's
exactly.
a very interesting concept. I don't think I've ever seen that done anywhere else before. So it'll be really interesting to see how you implement that.
Well, yeah, you'll have to see. But you see, what we try to do, and you've played both of our games, and you'll see that both games are so vastly different, and each one brings a little bit of a different dynamic to it and a different way of doing things and a different path. So we just try to keep it fresh. We don't want to make new escape rooms that are essentially an excuse to make the same escape room with a different skin. We want to make a completely different experience where you do different things, solve different puzzles, and you come out thinking, you know what, that was a completely new thing. I was expecting another escape room, and that was a completely different story.
Yeah, so every single time that you go to #Escape, you're going to have a different experience.
That's what we're trying to achieve.
Even if you're playing the same room again with different friends, they react differently to the different scenarios that's laid out in front of you. So you can't have the same experience every time.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a drawback to our 2 rooms at the moment, is that once you've played it, you kind of know the tricks, you know what's going to happen. So the replay value, and he's going to be 100% honest here, is that the replay value for an individual is kind of minimal, right? It's like playing you can do it for the nostalgia, for the experience, but you're going to know the tricks and all the puzzles. We haven't yet decided, but for our new room, because you are locked in two different cells and you need to help each other get out, there is a very high potential we're going to build in some replay value that you'll be able to then, when you come back, select to start from a different cell.
Okay.
So you'll get a different, so you'll almost the same, but you'll see it from a different perspective, and you'll have different puzzles to solve, and it'll be the same game but with a completely different viewpoint.
That's definitely something worth looking at, yeah.
Yeah.
And while we're on the subject of replayability, what are your plans with regards to the future? How long will you keep your current games in circulation before you introduce new ones?
So that's a good question. Joburg is a big city. There are millions of residents, and not all of them have played #Escape yet. And I think due to the cost of setting up these rooms, we'd probably like to churn quite a few more people through it for them to experience it before we start changing the themes. So sorry to disappoint on that note. We probably are going to keep the themes for a while, but you never know. As I said, being a big city that it is, we might be popping up in a few other locations as time goes by. So we'll probably keep our original rooms and just pop up new ones all over the place.
Okay. So at the end of the day, you guys are more focused on new traffic coming in. So your hope is at the end of the day to get people who has experienced #Escape to tell their friends about it, get their friends to come through and experience it. And obviously, one of your big focuses is doing it as a corporate team building sort of thing.
Yeah. So I mean, word of mouth is such a powerful thing because we can advertise, we can pay money for advertising, we can tell people that haven't played an escape room for hours and hours and hours what it's all about, and that's cool. They might get excited, they might not. The thing is, when you've got a good friend who comes and tells you at a braai, Jonathan, I played this thing last week. It's a real life escape room, and it was the most fun I've had in the past 5 years. Then we definitely start seeing people coming through personal referrals. So we love personal referrals. We think we've done a great job when someone refers their friends because it means that they had a great experience.
Yes.
And as you said, from a corporate point of view, I'm from a corporate background, and I've been in corporate for a couple of years. And, I've done many team building events, go-karting, paintballing, abseiling, a whole bunch of stuff. Great fun. But none of it really
forces you to work together with your team.
With my colleagues. It was a good excuse to do something fun with my colleagues, have a beer afterwards and talk about it. But we didn't really do anything together. It was just us having fun. Whereas #Escape, what we try to do is, without detracting from the fun and the experience of it, also build in some real value in terms of developing your communication skills, working together as a team, spotting common psychological traps that people fall into. So there's a very common one, and it's called it's on the tip of my tongue now. It's called the fixed utility, something like that. But basically the premise is that when you see something that you think is an object that does a certain thing, say for example a speaker, you think of it as playing sound. But a speaker has magnets in it, so maybe you could be using the magnets in a speaker to pick something up from a place that you can't reach,
Yeah.
So we try to throw in a couple of these psychological tricks, and it's great for corporates because they come through, they really unite for an hour to work, because our games, you don't compete against your friends, you compete.
It's a cooperative. It's a cooperative. It could be, yeah.
You're competing to try get out of the room, number one, and if you're really competitive, to try beat the best times that are out there. So you're really forced to work together as a team, which is what people should be doing in companies. We're all working together for a common goal.
Yes.
It highlights some of our failures in communication. It highlights what happens when we don't take people's opinions into account. Often what happens is someone has a great idea. Why don't we try this? And then their colleagues are too caught up in their own thoughts. They ignore it, or they think, no, that's a bad idea. And it turns out that was actually the solution to the puzzle. They could have gotten out 5 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
So, it's great for that. And we actually do offer a facilitation afterwards where we sit the guys down, we go through some of the puzzles, and each puzzle is designed to bring out a different way of thinking.
Yes.
And we go through all of that, and we show them, you apply some of these concepts to real life, and the whole premise that life is a puzzle, and you've got the resources in front of you, and what's the best resource to use to achieve your goal. It's just a great way to spend a day out of the office, and much better value for money than I think anything else you could possibly be doing in that fun space.
Yeah, and I mean at 200 rand per person, it's a no-brainer.
That's it.
Yeah, but what I was going to say earlier is, based on the description that you're giving the games, it's really one big social experiment, really.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but
With Big Brother watching you from a control room.
yes, exactly, and I'm sure you guys have quite the giggles when people are trying to figure something out, so they just can't get it to snap into place.
We've seen every game. People have done something that we haven't seen before. It's amazing. The human brain is an amazing thing.
Okay, well that's quite an interesting way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but guys, we are unfortunately out of time, so I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to tell our listeners about your different social media platforms, your website, how to get to you guys. Go for it.
Okay, cool. So we have a website, www.escape.co.za. So you write out the word hashtag. So that's our main website. All our information is on there, whether it's for just a social recreational thing or corporate events. We have information on there. We have more specific information about each one of our rooms. We have an FAQ guide about anything you may want to know about an escape room. And we also have a booking portal where you can basically choose a room you want to play and the time slot you want to do. You can book in advance. And you can book without you don't need a credit card to book. You can come and pay in store when you guys arrive. So that's our main thing. I encourage you to go check it out, www.escape.co.za. We also have a very active Facebook page where we post news about our new rooms, about events we're doing, pop-up events, and every team that comes through to #Escape gets a photo in front of our big purple wall. To say that they've experienced #Escape, and we put that up on our Facebook and our Instagram page.
Yeah, and you're obviously on Twitter as well.
We are on Twitter. Every one of our pictures also goes up on Twitter. I must say, not as active on Twitter, but we do have it. And if that's the way that you want to get your photo, it goes up there as well.
Oh, fantastic! And where can everybody find you at Geekfest this weekend?
So look out for the big marquee I've just got a map in front of me now, and I'll tell you exactly. So there is a gaming marquee and a big chess board, and #Escape is the big tent next to that.
Okay, yeah, and right next to them we'll have another gaming tent where Timeless Board Games, who we also mentioned earlier in the podcast, they will be there demoing quite a few of their games. Geek Node will be there with the Pro Evolution Soccer Tournament. And I believe there will also be Magic the Gathering in the tent, hosted by D20, who we will have on the podcast soon.
Nice.
Yeah. So, any final words before we sign off, guys?
I think I just want to say thanks for the opportunity. It was great chatting. Nice to catch up about all the comic books, board games, and video games that we're playing at the moment. Always good to have a chat like that. That's basically what goes on in our office most of the day anyway. So Cool to do it for the public to listen out. Jonathan, thanks for coming through last night and 2 weeks ago for playing both of the rooms. I'm really glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We look forward to seeing each and every one of the listeners at Geekfest or at our offices in #Escape to try out the escape rooms for themselves.
Yeah, and from your side, Chris?
Yeah, cool. Just wanted to say thanks so much. Guys, hopefully we see you all at Geekfest. It's going to be an epic event. And thanks again for organizing this podcast and getting the name out there, brother. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for joining us, guys. Excuse the birds here on my shoulders.
Is that a cockatiel, bro?
Yeah, I've got cockatiels.
Yeah, so do I, dude. Yes, I recognize that. It sounded like our bird for a while there.
Lovely birds. So, guys, that's the Geekfest podcast for this week. We will, of course, be doing the next podcast. We'll be recording live at Geekfest. The guests will be a surprise. You'll only find out who we managed to get for the podcast on Monday, if I survive all the hard work and everything. Otherwise, it will be going out on Tuesday. Be sure to check out geeknode.co.za. Have a listen to our previous podcasts, and thank you for listening to this one. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, Jonathan. Cheers, listeners.
Bro.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Ciao.
Bye.